Hey everybody, I'm the Ranting Monkey, and today we're going to talk about fat people. Okay, we're not really going to talk about fat people, just one particular annoying fat chick and the stupid shit she and other body positive idiots say. Now, I'll do my best not to make fat jokes, but since I was fat and am a little chunky still, by politically correct rules, my fat ass gives me a fat pass. Although my ass is not fat, it's actually quite lovely. I hate the body positive movement. A bunch of morbidly obese people, mostly women, looking for self-value through the very thing they blame for their problems, how other people judge them. They're literally begging for acceptance while decrying society for judging people. Acceptance is judgment, you silly shits. Being stunningly moronic hypocrites is bad enough, but they don't stop there. They spread dangerous misinformation about health. They don't listen to doctors, and they blame their health problems on everything except the elephant in the room. Which brings us to Whitney.
You may have noticed by now that I'm really fat.
Why did the fat women of TEDx always tell us we might have noticed they're fat? Is it supposed to be funny? Ironic? We can see. Move on.
And that's okay. You wouldn't be the first. Back in 1997, when I was in 7th grade, I heard a question posed about me in the locker room of my middle school. I sat hidden in a bathroom stall, hunched over, not wanting to give myself away, when I heard a girl ask, "When was the last time Whitney saw 90210? I was like more of a Saved by the Bell girl myself, and I'd actually never seen an episode of 90210, so I clenched my muscles and held my pee and waited with bated breath for the answer. And when it came, when she stepped on the scale, the girls erupted into laughter, and I felt the familiar sting of embarrassment seeping into my cheeks. It took me back to my 5th grade year on the soccer field where the boys had taken to singing a song about me called Baby Beluga that ended with, "She's got a whale of a tail."
Yeah, kids are mean and not particularly clever, and the sky is blue and water is wet and you're fat. It sucks that you had that experience, but we all had experience with other kids being shitheads. You don't get to use that as an excuse in life. I am so sick of grown adults whining about their miserable childhoods. All of us got made fun of in school. All of us. We're going to skip ahead. The relevant parts you will miss if you don't watch the whole thing, which is linked below, is that she was a really skinny kid and a dancer, but being called fat by those kids made her ashamed of herself.
After that, shame followed me like a shadow. And after the 90210 incident, I knew I had to take action. So I grabbed the handle of my father's toothbrush and shoved it down my throat until I vomited, and thus began my nearly lifelong battle with eating disorders.
Remember this part, it's going to be important here in a few minutes. She goes on to tell us that shame stayed with her through high school, in all of her dance recitals and soccer tournaments, and even when she was making herself throw up before being named prom princess. Basically, for 4 or 5 years, she was bulimic.
When I moved to college that fall, I brought shame along into my dorm room, and I noticed that my body was changing. By the time I went home for Christmas break, I'd gained 50 pounds.
Here's where the bullshit really starts.
I was getting mysterious bruises all over my body, and I was like, why am I bumping into doorways and furniture? When did I get so clumsy? But then I realized I wasn't clumsy. My body was expanding so quickly that I had lost all kinesthetic awareness of it.
She got mysteriously fat. So fat and so quickly she couldn't walk without banging into doorways. Something horrible must have happened. We'll find out her excuse here real soon, but first we have to hear about how a man mistreated her. No fat girl story is complete without a bad man story.
By the time the second semester was finished, I'd gained nearly 100 pounds. And there was the sympathy from the pretty girls who asked me if I'd ever had a boyfriend. And then there was that one frat boy who had taken me on a dinner date in August. Granted, it was to Ruby Tuesday, but it was a dinner date. And when he saw me in March, he looked right through me like I didn't even exist.
That fucker. Or maybe he didn't recognize you. You gained 100 fucking pounds. You say you went out in August, and from your story, he didn't see you again for 6 goddamn months. Maybe he looked right through you because for 6 months you didn't give a shit about him. Maybe it wasn't even your weight. Maybe you broke his heart. Maybe he was thinking, fuck her, she never called me, I'm glad she got fat. What should he have done? Congratulated you? Thanked you for a dinner you were so ungrateful for you're taking unnecessary laughter breaks over it in this speech? Speaking of which, will someone please tell TEDx speakers they don't have to pause for laughter if people aren't fucking laughing? It's just awkward.
The differences in the way that people treated average Whitney and fat Whitney were striking. Suddenly, I was assumed to be lazy, desperate, sloppy, stupid. And with every single pound that I gained, my self-worth continued to shrink further and further. So I became a different person after that.
No, you became a different person and just noticed it then. There's no way you were doing the same amount of physical activity if you gained 100 pounds in 6 months. Not without a giant tumor. Now, I've seen you before, so I know your excuse, and we'll get to it in a moment, but you're confusing cause and effect here. You didn't turn into a different person because people were treating you differently. People were treating you differently because you'd become a different person. It's not unusual for kids going off to college to experience these kind of changes, especially somebody like you who was popular enough to be prom princess. You were a big fish in a little pond in high school. In college, you were all alone. This is what causes the freshman 15. High school kids going to college suddenly have nothing to do as they sit in their dorms and pack on pounds. You took it to extremes, but you're not special here.
In 2005, I weighed 280 pounds, and my nurse practitioner swiveled her stool from in between my legs in the stirrups, checking her chart and announcing a little too cheerfully that she thought I had PCOS.
Remember PCOS? It's the same issue the incredibly underweight vegan I recently responded to was diagnosed with to explain her stomach issues. Whitney here's the first person I ever saw discuss PCOS in her response to Nicole Arbor's Dear Fat People video. In her vlog response, she sat there drinking a latte obviously filled with some kind of creamer, explaining that she's not fat because of anything she's doing. It's PCOS.
Well, my mind started reeling because I did not remember learning about this STD in my 7th grade sex ed class. But the more I learned as I pored over the brochures and the pamphlets, PCOS wasn't an STD. It was a syndrome, a grouping of symptoms with no cure that affects 1 out of every 10 women in America.
And every morbidly obese woman on YouTube.
And then, like putting together a puzzle, other stuff started to make sense. The handfuls of hair that had come out in the shower, the coarse dark hairs all over my face, my period that had visited me only twice when I was 15 and never again. And of course, my sudden and severe weight gain my freshman year of college.
And there it is. Did you catch her wording there? The physician's assistant told her she thinks she may have PCOS. Then Whitney here did a bunch of digging and explained away her missing periods, hair loss, and sudden catastrophic weight gain. The way she presents it sounds like a medical professional explained all of this to her. She didn't. She got an excuse and filled in the blanks herself. Do you know what else causes hair loss and missing periods? Malnutrition. The kind one might suffer if they are, say, bulimic for 5 years to maintain a dancer's body. Do you know what causes sudden weight gain? Life-altering changes that leave you sitting on your ass when you used to run all the time for soccer practice. But for the sake of argument, let's give Whitney the benefit of doubt here and say that all of her problems stem from a catch-all syndrome that has no real test to prove it exists. You see, PCOS isn't like herpes. There is no blood test that confirms you have it. The doctors ask you some questions, check to see if you have cysts on your ovary, and might check your hormone and blood sugar levels. It's a catch-all syndrome where the sufferers all have different levels of affliction. All of those things can be explained in other ways, like a really shitty diet and poor health decisions. That's not to say PCOS doesn't exist, just that those symptoms can exist for other reasons. But for argument's sake, we're just going to accept that she has it and her symptoms are all caused by PCOS rather than incredibly unhealthy lifestyle choices. Do you know what the recommended treatment is for PCOS? Exercise, healthy diet, and weight control. Things Whitney is not actively doing.
I didn't have an explanation for it then, but I had an explanation for it now. I was insulin resistant. So would life with PCOS make it impossible to lose weight? Absolutely not. Would it be even harder? Absolutely yes.
What do you think the chances are that Whitney was honest with her doctors? Do you think she told the doctor she'd been starving herself all through high school, that she would vomit on purpose to keep the weight off, and that she went from being really active to sitting on her ass all day? Even giving her the benefit of doubt that she does indeed have YouTube's leading cause of lard acidness, she had been skinny and she's lost weight since being diagnosed. She lost 100 pounds at one point before deciding she just needed to love her body as it is. It wasn't that maintaining a healthy diet and exercise program was too hard. No. She just realized it's healthier to be 200 pounds overweight than to try to conform to society's beauty standards. Every one of these fat fuck body positive people tell us how horrible it is that people think they're just lazy. And then they go on to describe how they are in fact lazy. Not ingesting an entire package of Oreos is just too hard. Whitney can lose weight. She's done it. And if she really has PCOS, it's the fucking treatment. But she gets attention for being fat. She's had a show on the Learning Channel, and she gets to do TEDx talks where she spreads a dangerous message of loving yourself despite your impending heart disease. If she continues the way she's going, she'll likely be dead before she's 40, and at her funeral people will talk about how brave she was to put her fat ass out there in a world that judges people harshly for being the personification of type 2 diabetes. No one will stand up and say she'd still be alive if she'd done what her doctors told her to do. Unlike most social justice bullshit, the body positive movement isn't just stupid, it's dangerous. It teaches people that being morbidly obese is okay. It's not. Yes, you can be fat and a good person. You can weigh 300 pounds and have a heart of gold. The problem is at 300 pounds you need a heart of iron to survive the strain you're putting on it. When it comes to the body positive movement, there's nothing nice about it. It's fake happiness in the name of not doing hard work it might take to improve your health. It's encouraging people to suffer from diabetes and PCOS and all the other known disease carrying that much extra weight brings with it. No one would question me if Whitney was preaching the virtues of bulimia. If she weighed 100 pounds and was up there telling people they should throw up after every meal to be happy like her, nobody would have a problem with me calling her a fucking moron who is spreading very dangerous health advice. But since she's fat, well, we aren't allowed to judge. Yeah, fuck that. Whitney needs to lose weight. A lot of weight. But far more importantly, she needs to cut the shit. She's not fat because of any disease. She's fat because losing the weight would mean cutting calories and exercising regularly. And now, she's getting the external validation she's sought since she first stuck her dad's toothbrush into the back of her throat. Isn't Whitney amazing? Isn't she brave for being a fat fuck who loves herself? No, she isn't. She's a liar pretending to be happy with herself because really loving herself would mean caring enough to do the hard stuff. Watching what she eats, exercising, taking a good look in the mirror and admitting she's not happy with what she sees, and that if she doesn't change, she'll probably die long before she has to. If she wants to live the lie, that's fine. It's her choice, but she needs to stop spreading that stupid shit. She's not content to just kill herself. She's encouraging others to do the same. That's going to do it for this one, guys. If you'd like to watch the whole video, it runs about 20 minutes long and it is linked down below. Quick programming note, I'm going to be really busy for the next couple of weeks. I don't know how much I'll be posting. I will post as often as I can. Remember, you can get more monkey in your life by following the social media links below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm the Ranting Monkey, and I will see you next time.
Deciding to love my body had become a radical act.
Your life makes me sad.